Hello and welcome to Soul Steps. I'm David Gallagher. Have you noticed how people who want attention will sometimes become more and more outlandish, radical in their attempts to draw attention to themselves? Well, that is happening every day, all day, and it's been going on for years now on social media. As people who are desirous to get attention on social media resort to more and more and more outrageous and outlandish, radical claims and ideas in order to get attention. Unfortunately, it's shaping our culture, and it's having a profound effect on the direction that our country and our world is heading. Essentially, social media users, try to outdo one another to gain online clout as a way of improving their social status. And that is according to journalist and filmmaker Leighton Woodhouse. Those policies, however, enter everyday political discourse and social order. Woodhouse writes this: as social media has sort of taken over more and more of our lives, those status competitions have started to bleed into the real world and have started to shape the real world. It's highly destructive to democracy, he said. He writes, the real world is becoming, quote, an extension of the debates that take place on Twitter. All of a sudden, we're talking about this stuff on the news, and we're talking about it with our friends. In the 1970s, there was a French sociologist named Pierre Bourdieu who theorized that cultural capital, like wealth, plays an essential role in determining social class. Cultural capital includes a variety of what is called social assets, including education, intellect, style of speech, clothing, and an appreciation for art, as examples. He said cultural capital is basically the knowledge and tastes and mannerisms that are inculcated that allow a person to sort of get ahead in a given environment. Individuals can advance or hinder their social status through cultural capital regardless of their income. Woodhouse says that journalists tend to accumulate high levels of cultural capital given their ability to attain name recognition and inclusion in exclusive social circles, even if they are not particularly wealthy. Social media has brought this struggle to acquire social gravitas online, and over the years, cultural capital has shifted from wearing the right clothes or speaking properly to instead holding the right beliefs. And the new currency, he says, for distinguishing one status versus the next is through what he calls moral capital, holding the right beliefs. And moral capital is acquired through moral posturing and virtue signaling, he says. As competition for moral capital increases, people adopt increasingly radical positions to maintain their position on the social hierarchy. He says there's an inflationary effect on moral capital. Say, for example, your position is abolish ICE. At first, that seems really edgy, and you have high moral capital for taking that until more and more people start talking about abolishing ICE. And then you've got to get more radical than that to increase your moral capital. And it's the same thing, he says, as if everybody starts wearing your designer sneakers. All of a sudden, those designer sneakers are not so special anymore. So you have to come up with a more extreme position. Radical ideas begin with being an idea on social media before they become a talking point in our society. And so whether it's abolish ICE or it's abolish the police after the George Floyd riots, or it's even the phrase trans women are women, those thoughts and ideas make the rounds on social media before they become common talking points. This is all to say that objective truth is continuously and ongoingly being assaulted in our culture. Any moral absolutes are now looked on as crazy, ridiculous, insane, because everything is to be fluid according to the perspective and the view of the individual. Forget collective societal norms. Forget collective societal moral beliefs. We've done away with that, and we're now living in a time and a place and a space where every individual decides for him or herself what moral truth is. And certainly, as more and more individuals adopt the same moral truths that are very objective, or not objective, but subjective, based on their own personal views, then the reaction against any objective moral truth or absolute moral truth becomes more and more repugnant and repulsive to larger and larger groups in society. Today on Soul Steps, I just want to say, in Matthew chapter 7, in verse 15, Jesus warned against false prophets, and that there would be those who would arise in society and in culture who want to dismantle and disregard and throw into dispute any moral absolute or objective absolute. Those who believe in moral absolutes, again, are deemed to be the enemy, are deemed to be crazy or insane, because as our culture moves more and more to each individual becoming his or her own God with a small g, then those who believe there is a grand God and a great God and an overarching God who created the universe and has moral absolutes, that becomes anathema to them. They can't take it. Jesus also said in Matthew 15 that there would be a tendency to adopt and to buy into just rules taught by men. And then in Acts chapter 20, verse 30, Paul wrote to warn us that men will arise and distort the truth to draw away disciples after them. And so with all of the clamor for more and more acceptance and standing out on social media and gaining a following, the temptation for people on social media to gain more and more attention is then to become more and more extreme, to gain the attention that they crave. And they will distort the truth in order to draw as many people after them as they can. Really think about what you believe and why you believe it. Don't believe everything you hear on either the right or the left. It takes a lot of searching to find, if you're looking for it, moral, absolute truth. And all I can say is that for millennia, the Bible, the Holy Scriptures, have provided a guiding light for moral truth in this world that is good and is right and is healthy and avoids the paths of destruction that other truths with a small t would try to teach you. So ask God today. Ask God if there's even a shadow of a doubt in your mind that there is a God with a capital G who created this universe and created you and created the order in this universe. And part of that order is absolute truth. Then ask God to show you that. And I promise you He will. And get into the Bible. Read the Bible. Take a chance. I dare you. Take a chance. Get into the Bible and see if what you read in the Bible proves to be true. And ask the Spirit of God to confirm those truths to you. Thanks for watching today. Visit us at soulsteps.org, and please remember us in your prayers. And let us know by writing us at hello@soulsteps.org if we can be thinking of you and praying for you in any way. Thanks, and God bless.